Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 2, Hiranyakashipu, King of Demons. And text number 48. Vitathabhiniveshoyam yadguneshvartadrugvachah yatha manoratha swapnaha सर्वमैन्द्रियकं मृषा वितताभिनिवेशोऽयं यद्गुणेष्वर्थदृग्वचः यथा मनोरथः स्वप्नः सर्वमैन्द्रियकं मृषा वितथाभिनिवेशोऽयं यद्गुणेष्वर्थदृग्वचः यथा मनोरथः स्वप्नः सर्वमैन्द्रियकं मृषा. 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 माताजी. वितथाभिनिवेशोऽयं यद्गुणेष्वर्थदृग्वचः यथा मनोरथः स्वप्नः सर्वमैन्द्रियकं मृषा. वितथाभिनिवेशोऽयं यद्गुणेष्वर्थदृग्वचः यथा मनोरथः स्वप्नः सर्वमैन्द्रियकं मृषा. वितथ fruitless, abhiniveshah the conception, ayam this, yat which, guneshu in the modes of material nature, artha as a fact, drugvachaha the seeing and talking of, yatha just as, manoratha a mental concoction, daydream, swapnaha a dream, sarvam everything, aindriyam aindriyakam produced by the senses, mrisha false. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation: it is fruitless to see and talk of material modes of nature and their resultant so-called happiness and distress as if they were factual. When the mind wanders during the day and a man begins to think himself extremely important, or when he dreams at night and sees a beautiful woman enjoying with him, these are merely false dreams. Similarly, happiness and distress caused by material senses should be understood to be meaningless. Purport: the happiness and distress derived from the activities of material senses are not actual happiness and distress. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita speaks of happiness that is transcendent conception of life. Sukham atyantikam yattat buddhigrahyam atindriyam. When our senses are purified of material contamination, they become atindriya, transcendental senses. And when the transcendental senses are engaged in the service of master of senses, Rishikesh, one can derive real transcendental pleasure. Whatever distress or happiness we manufacture by mental concoction through the subtle mind has no reality, but is simply a mental concoction. One should therefore not imagine so-called happiness through mental concoction. Rather, the best source is to engage the mind in the service of the Lord Rishikesh and feel real blissful life. So, in the first paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is explaining the verse saying that both sukha and dukkha, happiness and distress, obtained through material senses, has no factual existence. I was hearing His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj's class, and in that he was mentioning the whole spiritual existence is full of light and knowledge and bliss. And only when there is forgetfulness of Krishna, a part in the spiritual sky becomes covered by a cloud of false ego. Okay? And then this whole material existence comes into picture or into activation. This whole world becomes activated material world because of this cloud covering the effulgent. A part of spiritual sky is covered by a cloud called as false ego. And then comes to that false ego comes lust, anger, greed. All the mental concoctions come from there only. That thinking myself somebody else what I am not. Hmm. So Srila Vishwanath Chari Thakur also quotes Patanjali in one of the purports saying that first of all there is avidya. Avidya means forgetting that I am Krishna's servant, forgetting my relationship with Krishna as eternal servant of Krishna, forgetting that I am the part of that spiritual bliss, that spiritual knowledge, and that light. And when that happens, what happens is then next comes asmita. Now that I have forgotten I am Krishna's servant, naturally the soul needs an identity. Okay? Even somebody who has um, this the memory loss, he's constantly uh, trying to find the identity without which he feels very insecure. Mm. And therefore, if one loses the real identity, then soul needs some identity. Therefore, it searches in the material world. That gives him some kind of false security. Okay, so that is called as asmita. Then that soul tries to find it in terms of position in this world, in terms of some proprietorship in this world, or in terms of doership or achievers mentality in this world. That is how if you don't you know me, if somebody is challenged, his false ego is hurt, what does he think? Don't you know me, who I am? That I have done this. I am graduated from this university. I have achieved this. And so many people know me. And whatever he thinks. Uh, so that is asmita. And then comes rag and dvesh. That means anything that protects or enhances my mental concoction becomes dear to me. And anything that challenges my mental concoction becomes uh, my enemy. Right? So that friend and enemy conception is based on what fosters my false ego or what challenges my false ego. That is rag and dvesh. And that leads to abhinivesh. Abhinivesh means constant absorption in fighting with inimical elements and and trying to gather more friendly elements, friendly to my false ego. Mm. So that is how this whole world works, and then this continues life after life. Therefore, our Narottam Das Thakur has mentioned in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, विषय गरलमय ताते मानो सुखचय विषय गरलमय ताते मानो सुखचय सेई सुख दुख करी जानो सेई सुख दुख करी जानो गोविंद विषय रस संग करो तार दास गोविंद विषय रस संग करो तार दास प्रेम भक्ति सत्य करी मान प्रेम भक्ति सत्य करी मान. So very beautiful. Vishaya Garalamaya. Although Vishaya means sense gratification that we enjoy through our five senses or 11 senses, that is Vishaya Garalamaya, it is full of poison. It is like the poison which is coated outside with some sugar. So, sugar coated poison. Sugar coated poison pill. That is that is the Vishaya. Vishaya Garalamaya. Tate mano sukhachaya. And you are thinking that this is the plethora of happiness. Say sukha dukkha kari jaan. Know this happiness to be distress only. And then what should we do? Like shut off all the senses? So no. Govinda Vishaya Rasa Sanga Karo Taradasa. Govinda is the real Vishaya. Hmm. He is the real object of senses, and he can only give us happiness. Sarvesham Bhutana Madhu. The description of Krishna, description of Govinda is given in scriptures. He is called as Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu. That means he is the honey of all living entities. Yeah. Everybody likes honey, right? so, uh, so therefore, the real honey for all living entities is Krishna. Govinda Vishaya Rasa. Sanga Karo Tara Dasa. Someone may say that, oh, but it is not apparently tangible that Krishna is happiness for me. Yeah. So the thing is, unless we associate with these devotees, Sanga Karo Tara Dasa, we won't know how to taste this honey. Hmm. Yeah. And Prema Bhakti Satya Kariman. At least during sadhana stage, we should be theoretically convinced that Prema Bhakti is real. Hmm. Right now, my mind and my intelligence is telling me sense gratification is real because that is what is my experiences. And based on that experience, mind and intelligence try to convince me that this is real. But when one comes to Krishna consciousness, one relies not on mind and intelligence, I mean the material mind and intelligence, but relies on Guru Sadhu Shastra. So Guru Sadhu Shastra, that leap of faith we have to take. That uh, like Prabhupada used to tell that you should have faith that I'm not going to deceive you. Yes. So when Prabhupada is mentioning that this one lifetime, so many lifetimes you have given in service of your mind and intelligence. At least this lifetime you give for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna and then see the result. Yeah. At least so many lifetimes, anyways, I have given. So it makes sense to do a little experiment and give one lifetime to pleasure of Guru and Krishna. So that's what Narottam Das Thakur is trying to say. And the scriptures are filled with thousands of examples of how material sense gratification doesn't work. Even if one has capacity and facility, both. Hmm. In Kali Yuga, hardly anyone has capacity to enjoy senses. Yes, suppose somebody's favorite dish is says say it is gulab jamun. How many gulab jamun can he eat? The Kali Yuga body cannot support it. Yeah. Anyway, material body doesn't support material enjoyment. But let's suppose for hypothetical case, unlimited enjoyment is offered. How much can we access? So we don't have capacity, and second is we don't have facility also. Nobody is give in Kali Yuga. The even material objects have lost their uh, appeal. Yeah, things have become less and less tasty. Yeah, because of whether it is food or whatever it is, environment. Yeah. So one time I was serving uh, in Radha Gopinath, serving prasadam, and one devotee had sponsored unlimited ice cream. So I was serving with Bhagwan Pandit Prabhu. Him and myself were serving, and then I announced to all devotees that ice cream is unlimited. Please take as much as you can because it is unlimited. And immediately after my announcement, Bhagwan Pandit Prabhu he made another announcement. He said, "Yes, ice cream is unlimited, but your capacity is limited. So take according to your capacity." So even when there is unlimited facility, our capacity is limited, and it is going to have negative effects, even health wise. Forget about consciousness wise. Even health wise, one doesn't have capacity and facility to enjoy senses. So the intelligent decision would be uh, take what is required for sustaining the life and use the senses in Krishna's service. That is the best conclusion, intelligent conclusion we can reach. And we know that there are so many examples, like the example of Yayati, who could enjoy, who was a king, first of all, unlimited facility for enjoyment, unlimited capacity also, not unlimited in the sense of, in the spiritual sense, a lot of capacity to enjoy, materially speaking, and lot of facility to enjoy. Yet, what was his realization about sense happiness? न जातु काम कामानाम उपभोगेन शाम्यति हविषा कृष्ण वर्तमेव भूय एवाभिवर्धते. He's saying that no matter how much I supply happiness to the senses, never they are going to be happy with me and say that, oh, now I am satisfied. They are never going to say that to me. Rather, they will demand more next time. So that is the realization of many of those who had capacity and facility to enjoy senses. So we have no way to experiment because we don't have capacity or facility also. So we should listen to Mahajano Yenagata Sapantha. Another example is that of Pururava and Urvashi. So Pururava spends 500 years with Urvashi, and after that, suddenly one day Urvashi leaves him, and then he runs after her shamelessly in front of everyone, and then he realizes that, oh, what sort of nonsense I was trying to get into. And then this is his realization, which is quoted by Krishna to Uddhava. Is famous as Aila Geet. Okay, let's hear what Pururava's realization is. Let me try to. I'm just trying to find out. Which chapter is it? 20, 26, yes. Who said? Okay, okay. Thank you. So see what Aila or Pururava says. अहो मे मोहविस्तारः कामकल्मषचेतसः देव्या गृहीतकण्ठस्य नायुः खण्डा इमे स्मृता. I spent my life as if there is no tomorrow. Yeah, the sense gratification makes one so blind. He doesn't understand that there is tomorrow, and it won't be same as today. My my lifespan is getting shorter and shorter. My body is getting weaker and weaker, and my impressions are getting stronger and stronger. So I am not aware of that. तथापि विषयेर स्वभाव करे महा अंध से कर्म कराय याते हय भव बंध. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to Raghunath Das Goswami, the nature of sense gratification, it makes one completely blind to reality and makes one do those activities which enhance his bondage in this world, strengthen his bondage in this world. Hmm. Then he says that because I was embraced by this Urvashi, ah, and because my mind was bewildered by illusion, I couldn't, uh, I was not aware that my life is slipping away like sand in the fist, right? It just slips away. We don't realize slowly, slowly. It slips away like a sand clock. Yeah. And yeah, actually, they should resort to using sand clock again. Why, because if you have this circular clock or this electronic watch, we don't understand that it is getting emptied. But that sand clock has a kind of special effect, which makes you realize that, oh, itna bacha hai, itna spend hua, and now I have to be aware. So probably sand clock will be a good revival of old technology, which will make us conscious of time. What do you think? Or even solar clock is good, right? Because it makes us aware that दिन ढल रहा है. Sun is setting. आयुर्हरति वै पुंसाम उद्यमस्तम च यन्नसौ तस्य ऋते यत् क्षणम नीतो उत्तम श्लोक वार्ता. So maybe during the day we will use sun clock, and during night we can use sand clock. So or a combination of both. So time is slipping by. Aila is saying, Pururava is saying. He's Ila's son, therefore he's called as Aila. Then he says, Naham Vedabhir Nirmukta Suryo va Abhyudito Maya. Hey, he's using sun's example. I couldn't I couldn't realize when sun is rising and when sun is setting. So we are on the right track. He's using sun's example only. Yes. Mushito Varsha Puganam Batahani Katanyuto. What to speak of days? Years have lost. Forget about days, years have lost. We can also reflect on upon our own life that how the time has slipped by. Like yesterday only I was kind of a school boy or a school girl. And then suddenly now what happened? Now we are so 20, 25, 30, 40 years just went by, right? It was as if yesterday. अहो मे आत्मसम्मोहो येनात्मा योषितां कृतः क्रीडा मृगश्चक्रवर्ती नरदेव शिखामणि. And not that this time is used for some fruitful result. I am the Chakravarti means Samrat, the sovereign king. And what she made me into, this Urvashi, Krida Mriga, play toy. Small children use the play toy. They break it whenever they want it. They twist it whenever they want it. So this Urvashi broke me, twisted me the way she wanted. Although I am Chakravarti, this is my job to break and twist people. But see what happened. Uh, and she treated me like I'm a blade of grass and left me. And all for what? She turned me into Kharavat Padatadita, turned me into donkey. It's a very graphic examples. So once whose heart is taken away by sensual desires, kim vidyaya, kim tapasa, kim tyagena shrutenava. What is the use of having studied so many scriptures? What is the use of having performed so many austerities? What is the use of having sacrificed so many things? And what is the use of having heard so many things if one cannot control one's senses? So he is now condemning himself. Pandita Manyanam, I thought I am very intelligent, but Dhing Ma Murkham. I was stupid, I was foolish. Although I tried to enjoy happiness for so many years, and although she warned me, yet I fell for it. And now he is saying, what is this bodily happiness? Kwayam malimasaha kayo daurgandhyaatmako shuchi kwaguna somanasyaadya yadhyaso avidyaya krutaha. This happiness is superimposed happiness. This bodily happiness is superimposed happiness. Why? Malimasa kayo. What is this body full of filth? Daurgandhyadi atmako shuchi. It has no good qualities. All the bad qualities, bad odor. If one doesn't take bath, it's not that tomorrow one will start smelling like roses. One starts smelling horrible, especially in summers, if one doesn't take bath. So this is what this body produces, and yet, uh, and what is it made up of? This is from outside, we can say the organdhya, foul odor, and everything. What is inside? Tvang ma sarudirasnayu medo majja asti samhatam vinmutra puye ramatam kurminam kiyadantaram. What is the difference between a stool worm taking pleasure in stool and a living entity taking pleasure, and a human being taking pleasure in material bodies which are full of twang mas rudira, the flesh and the bones and the saliva and the stool and urine and so many other things. So and now I have come to my senses, and I won't be illusioned anymore. And with that, Krishna gives purport to this, to the to this whole story. He says, "Tato dussanga mutsrujya satsu sajjeta buddhiman santa evasya etasya chindanti mano vyasanga muktivi." He says that if you want to be saved by the illusion of sense happiness, simply by knowing about it is not sufficient. What is the remedy? Satsu Sajjeta Buddhiman. We have to take seriously the devotee association very seriously. And by their hearing constantly from them, hearing their instructions constantly. Santa etasya chindanti mano vyasanga muktivi. That this superimposition, these impressions, and so many wrong things that have happened uh, due to my own wrong decisions, they could be countered not by simply the theoretical knowledge that material happiness doesn't give, is illusory, but the practical association of devotees. And with their santa eva etasya chindanti, hmm, mano vyasanga muktivi. So with their constant reminding us, that with their constantly guiding us, warning us, making us alert, uh, nourishing us through Krishna Katha. And when we take that association sincerely, then Maya cannot touch us. Just like Krishna gives example, just like when we approach fire, the cold cannot touch us. Cold, darkness, and fear cannot touch us. Yes. So similarly, when we approach devotees, the karma jadya, that means the lethargy born out of material mentality, cannot touch us. Bhaya, the samsara bhaya, the fear of material existence cannot touch us. And tamo, the ignorance, the darkness of ignorance cannot touch us. And we live a very happy, fulfilled life of satisfaction. So now we'll see the examples. We saw a negative example of Pururava, of how material happiness is illusory. Now we will see how spiritual happiness is real. Okay, through few examples. Let's start with the sadhaka's example. We know the example of Dhanurdas. I will just uh, briefly explain it. So, um, so this Dhanurdas was being attracted to one woman and to her beauty, and he was serving her by holding umbrella over her head. And then there was a procession of Ranganath that was uh, carried. Uh, who is the Utsav Murti of Ranganath? Can you? Huh? Namperumal. Huh. So, um, so the Lord was carried in the procession, and all devotees were taking part jubilantly. And Sripad Ramanujacharya notices that there is one fellow here who is not looking at the Lord, but who is looking at this woman. So he asked his disciple, call this fellow. Like, and he said, Lord's procession is going on. What's up with you? Like, why? Where is your mind? So he says, no, no, I found the eyes of this woman so beautiful. I thought I will serve her. So then Sripad Ramanujacharya says that, what if I show you the better eyes than this? Unlimitedly more beautiful eyes. So then he said, then I will serve those eyes. Then Ramanujacharya carries this Dhanurdas and brings him in front of the Lord, and he shows the Lord's lotus like eyes to him. Now we should know that it's not that he had not taken darshan of Ranganath before. No, he's residing in Sri Rangam, right? So he had taken darshan, but he was not attracted to the Lord. Why? Because Guru's intervention was not there and mercy was not there. Hmm. So therefore, uh, Krishna's beauty cannot be accessed without mercy of Guru. Yes, Jiva Goswami writes, Srila Jiva Goswami writes, Shri Krishnasya madhurya anubhavam vina darshanam api adarshanam iva. Without tasting the beauty of Krishna, sweetness of Krishna, seeing Krishna is as good as not seeing Krishna. He writes. And therefore it is Sripad Ramanujacharya, he revealed Krishna's beauty to Dhanurdas, and then his heart is transformed. Yes, so Santa evase chindanti manovyasangam uktivi. So it is by mercy of devotees that one gets the access to the beauty and sweetness of Krishna, and then one can practically be freed from the illusory attraction, right? So if there is one bhajan in Braj song, one song in Braj they sing, which I forgot the exact song, but the meaning is this: how much mirage water is required to get a cup of real water? A cup full of real water, if you want to have, how much mirage water is required? Is it 1 gallon? Is it how much it is? Like how much of mirage water is can make one cup of real water? Hmm. No matter what amount of uh, mirage water. So similarly, no amount of sense gratification can ever come near to one drop of real spiritual happiness in serving Krishna. So that is how that song goes. It's a very beautiful example. So then Dhanurdas became, and even his wife became a disciple of Sripada Ramanujacharya. And then they dedicated their whole life to the real spiritual happiness which the soul is longing for life after life. Yes. So this is the example in the in uh, sadhaka world. Also, we know that even those who have attained the Brahman realization, even how they find the happiness of Brahman kind of unreal when they experience the real happiness of serving Krishna. So there is one example of Kumaras going to Vaikuntha, and we know the plot. So I am just going to the 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 point where there is plot twist. So Kumaras they curse Jai Vijay, and immediately Lord appears at that moment. They are trying to break through the doors of Vaikuntha, which they do not have right to actually. So Jai Vijay were not wrong to stop them because nobody is entitled. The darshan of Lord is achieved through grace, not entitlement. So Kumaras were kind of thinking that time that we are entitled to see the Lord. Okay. But Jai Vijay were right in the sense, they were wrong in the sense of the way they treated Kumaras. But they're right in the sense of trying to guard Vaikuntha. Okay. From those who think that they are entitled to see the Lord. Without the grace of the Lord, without the permission of the Lord. Kumaras didn't say that go and inform uh, Narayana, Lord Narayana, and ask Lord Narayan, beg Lord Narayan on our behalf, and if they allow us, we will enter. Had they said this, probably the situation could have been little different. But they tried to barge in, right? And saying that, hey, who are you to stop us? Right? The scenario is little different. And Jai Vijay, although their intentions were right there, they broke the Vaishnava etiquette. Yeah, Vaishnavas, although they are greater than Brahmanas, they respect Brahmanas as if Brahmanas are greater. Okay? Little Achintya Veda Ved, but so that is how it is. So Lord Narayan, Lord Krishna comes to that place, and it is mentioned that when Kumaras they came to their senses actually, they understood after cursing Jai Vijay, they understood we did something wrong. Right? And they offered obeisances to Lord Narayan. And um, there is a verse which says that Tasyara Vindanayanasya Padara Vinda Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antaragaten Swavivareణ Chakara Tesham Sanshobham Aksharajusham Api Chitta Tanvoho. It is mentioned Tasya Arvinda Nayanasya Padarvinda. His Arvinda Nayan, their hearts are already captured by his Arvinda Nayan, by his lotus like eyes. But when they offered obeisances, what happened? Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu. Padarvinda Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu. The fragrance of the lotus feet of Krishna mixed with the tulsi entered their noses. Antargatena Swavivarena Chakara Tesham. Remember, they were Brahmagyanis. They were they were knowers of Brahman, and they are expert in stopping their senses to access anything material. Okay, and now antargatena swavivarena chakara tesham sanshobham aksharajuta jusham api chitta tanvo. Although they were peace loving, their hearts become agitated in bliss. Agitated in bliss. And they forgot all about their Brahman practice. Okay, because they were attracted to the fragrance of lotus feet of Krishna. Now, here, very beautiful commentary that I heard. It says that Krishna is saying that just as you, what does Krishna say in Gita? Ye yatha mam prapadyante, tan sataiva bhajamyaham. I will reciprocate the way you approach me. How did you approach me? Forcefully, barging in, disregarding my two doorkeepers. Okay? And create havoc in my Vaikuntha. So now what I am going to do, you have two doorkeepers here, two nostrils. Yeah? Because you are Brahmavadi, you make sure you keep your senses as the guards, not to allow anything to enter. So I will also forcefully send the fragrance out of my feet through these two doorkeepers, disregarding their barring or stopping, and I will enter your heart and I will create havoc and agitation there. But this is created by Krishna, so it is good havoc, blissful havoc. I will create. So this is ye yathamam prapadyante tan sataiva vajamyam. Very nice commentary. So forcefully barge in and yeah, create agitation in the heart, just like you did in my Vaikuntha abode. I will also do the same thing. So this is how a Shanta devotee becomes attracted to service of Krishna. What about, let me see, what time is it? Okay, we have some time. So what about dasas, dasya? How they enjoy uh, relish the bliss of serving Krishna. So we have some examples how they become completely fearless in serving Krishna. Uddhavji says that Toyopabhukta Sraganda Vaso Lankara Charchita Uchishta Bhojino Dasa Tava Mayam Jayamahi. Simply by accepting your remnants, your garlands, your garments, your prasadam remnants, what we will do? Tava Mayam Jayamahi. We easily conquer your Maya. Because your remnants only make us, strengthen us, nourish us, give us the confidence to fight against Maya. Of course, Uddhava is Nitya Siddha, he doesn't have to fight with Maya, but he is saying that. So, Dasas, it is mentioned that they are so much in, like Hanumanji, he says that Bhavabandha Chide Tasai Spruhayami na Muktaye Bhavan Prabhu Raham Dasa Iti Yatra Vilupyate. So, Shri Hanumanji pleads to Lord Ram that when Lord Ram asks him to ask any benediction, so he says that I don't desire liberation. Bhavabandha chide tasya. People desire for liberation because they think that, oh, this is Bhavabandha chida. This by attaining moksha, there is uh, no happiness, material, so-called illusory happiness, and no distress. So therefore, they want liberation. But for me, this is like if somebody is having headache and doctor suggests, okay, now let's cut your head so that there is no head and then there is no headache automatically, right? So that is not a solution for me. For me, Bhavan Prabhu Raham Dasaha iti yatra vilupyate. Wherever there is uh, destruction of relationship, that you are Swami and I am your Das, that moksha is like suicide for me. Yeah. So so dasas, they enjoy the eternal bliss in serving Krishna, and then don't desire anything which the mental concoction presents to them. Bhavantamevanu charan nirantara prashanta nishesha manorathantara. What is next? Kadaham ekantika nitya kinkara praharshayishyami sanatha jivitam. Sanatha jivitam. Now I have Nath. I have master. I am not a dog without master. Sanatha jivitam. Praharshayishami. When will I be eternally happy? Prashanta Nishesha Manorathantara. Let the chariot of my mind not run after the illusory objects, but let it run Kadaham Aikantika Nitya Kinkara. Aikantikam means wanting nothing else and nobody else other than pleasing the Lord. So, this is the transcendental happiness that servants feel, the dasas feel. What is a happiness that the sakhas, the real happiness that sakhas feel when they serve Krishna? Apare hata papmana, vijanai saha vijayan. It is mentioned that when Krishna is resting after having the wrestling with all the gopas, when he rests, now he makes the same gopa's lap as his pillow. He doesn't carry pillow. He's a king's son, right? Nanda Maharaja's son. But he doesn't carry pillow from his home to the forest. Okay? He uses the lap of his friend with whom he had so much fight just now as the pillow for his sleeping. Yeah. So that is how he prefers that brand over any other brand of pillow. And then they're softly singing for Krishna's pleasure. They're they're doing chamar for Krishna. And it is mentioned Hata Papmanaha. They have destroyed all sin, therefore they are able to serve Krishna in such an intimate way. Now something appears odd with this word Hata Papmanaha. Those who have destroyed all sin get to serve Krishna. Anything fishy you smell here? Shukdev Goswami uses the word Hata Papmanaha. Those who have destroyed their sins get to serve Krishna intimately. Huh? No, something. I mean, do you feel something awkward here with this usage? Hata Papmanaha. Yeah, they don't have any pap. How can you say Hata Papmanaha? Hmm? We are talking about the eternal associate of Krishna, and we are saying they have destroyed all their sins. They never had any sin. How can you say they destroyed their sin? So what is the so therefore our acharyas give the gudhartha, the inner understanding of Hatha Papmana. Hatha Pap, there are many good understandings. So let's go one by one. One meaning of Hatha Papa means Papa also means obstacle, not just sin. So those who have removed all their obstacles in their service to Krishna. Hmm. That means they have taken care of their day in such a way that there is no obstacle in serving Krishna. So Papa also means antarai, obstacle. Okay. Um, Also Hatha Papa, just like Amala, we say, right? Srimad Bhagavatam, Puranam Amalam. So when we say Amal, we cannot say that it had Mal before and then it was purified. It is Amal eternally. So similarly, Hatha Papa does not necessarily mean they had sin before and then it was destroyed. It can be eternally free from sins. Okay. And finally, Hatha Papmana means, Hatha Papa also means that they have destroyed the sins of others because of creating so many nice pastimes with Krishna. The people of this world, their sins are destroyed. That is Hatha Papmanam. Not their own sins. There is no question of their own sins. Sins of the people of this world who want to meet Krishna and serve Krishna. Okay. So that is how Sakhas, they constantly live in ecstasy because their ecstasy is Krishna's happiness. Yes, it is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that Arjuna, he takes the when enemy shoots arrows at Krishna, Arjuna, he gets up and bears those arrows on his chest to say protect Krishna. like a shield, he acts like a human shield to protect Krishna. And he feels transcendental bliss to feel those arrows in his chest. Can you believe that? His chest is being pierced by arrows and he feels transcendental ecstasy because he knows that this is protecting Krishna from the enemies. Yes? Then what to speak of when he is ah, massaging Krishna's feet or joking with Krishna? If the piercing of arrow appears so blissful. So that is how the then we come to we see the Vatsalya Bhav devotees. Hmm. Uh, I will just take few minutes more. I think yeah, it is time up, but I will take few minutes more. We just have Vatsalya devotees and Madhurya devotees. One example for both. So it is mentioned that iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama katham muda kurvanto ramamanasya navindan bhava vedanam. It is mentioned that Nanda and other gopas, who have Vatsalya bhav for Krishna, they are constantly discussing Krishna Rama Katha. This could either mean Krishna and Balram Katha or Krishna's Ram Katha. Ram is beautiful. Krishna's beautiful Katha. Muda. With great happiness, they discuss Krishna's pastimes with each other. Kurvanta Ramamanasya Navindan Bhava Vedana. They did not experience Bhava Vedana, the distress of material world. Now again something wrong here. Huh? They have no Bhava Vedana. If it appears like they did not feel Bhava Vedana. It appears like when we are given some anesthesia, right? And then there is operation and we don't feel, although there is pain, but we don't feel it because we have anesthesia. Given we have been given anesthesia, right? So it appears like that they have Bhava Vedana, but because of being absorbed in Krishna Katha, they did not feel the Bhava Vedana. So this may be true for Sadhak Bhakta, but for Nanda Maharaj, what is the correct meaning of Bhava Vedana? So it mentions Bhava means the samsara, Vedana means pain. Okay, they did not feel the pain of samsara or material world. But Bhava Vedana could also be understood in different way. Bhava means Lord Shiva. Vedana means awareness. Navindan Bhava Vedana means uh, they did not, they were not aware that Lord Shiva has come to their place and begging alms. So they were so absorbed in Krishna Katha that Lord Shiva came from Kailash just to take darshan of Krishna and see the Vrajvasis, and all Gopas are just discussing. So Shivji is waiting on the doorstep to get any attention, but na vindan bhava vedana. So they were not even aware that Shivji is there. But then Baldev Vidyabhushan Pad writes, but don't feel sorry for Lord Shiva because Yashoda Maya gave alms to him. So like that it is mentioned. So they are so absorbed in constantly thinking about Krishna. Prabhupada mentions they they were absorbed in the ecstasy of anxiety for Krishna. Now in material world anxiety means distress, but in spiritual world anxiety means happiness. And finally Madhur Bhav, the gopis, Gopinam Paramananda Asid Govinda Darshane Kshanam Yugashatamiva Yasa Miyana Vina Bhavat. So it is mentioned that when Krishna would come from the forest after herding cows and return, the gopis were extremely happy seeing Krishna. Not just because they get to see Krishna, because they know that Krishna is now seeing them and Krishna is happy. So it's the transcendental dynamics, devotional dynamics, just like we have thermodynamics. So the devotional dynamics works in a way that gopis become happy by seeing Krishna happy. And the gopis think that Krishna is unhappy because not being able to see us, and now he'll be able to see us, therefore he will be happy, and therefore we are happy. But because they don't want to see it in that way, because that would mean that they are declaring their love for Krishna. They have so much love for Krishna. But in uh, spiritual domain, the more one thinks that I have love for Krishna, it diminishes. So their transcendental emotions make them think that they are seeing Krishna for their own sense gratification. Their love makes them think that they have no love for Krishna. They are seeing Krishna for their own happiness. But the reality is they want to see Krishna because seeing Krishna means Krishna will get happiness by seeing them, and he will receive happiness and he will be happy, and seeing him happy, Krishna, the gopis will be happy. So that is how gopis are blissful in seeing Krishna, and they are distressed because they are not being able to serve Krishna, and that is their when uh, all the time they are in ecstasy of remembrance of Krishna in that sense. And that is the real happiness of the senses. And any other happiness is just illusory mental concoction. That is what. Oh, I didn't read the next half of the purport. I'll quickly read that and then we will conclude. There is a Vedic statement Apama Soma Amruta Abhuma Apsarobhir Viharama. This what is mental concoction? With reference to such a conception, one wants to go to the heavenly planets to enjoy with the young girls. Ramya Rama Mrudutanulata Nandine Nabirantum. Kulishekar Alwar says, I don't want to enjoy there also, here also, anywhere. Bhave Bhave, Hridaya Bhavane, Bhavayam Bhavantam. My only happiness is to remember you in my heart. So one who wants to go to heavenly planets to enjoy the young girls there and drink somarasa. Such imaginary pleasure, however, has no value. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpamedhasam. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Even if by fruitive activity or worship of the demigods one is elevated to higher planetary systems for sense enjoyment, his situation is condemned in Bhagavad Gita as antavat, perishable. Even in Brahma Loka, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravarti Arjuna, it is mentioned that even Indra envies Brahma's post in heavenly planets. He thinks that, oh, I am just Indra. When will I become Brahma? The happiness one enjoys in this way is like the pleasure of embracing a young woman in a dream. For some time it may be pleasing, but actually the basic principle is false. False because like we started falsely, I think that I am the enjoyer or doer. But the thing is, I am enjoyed and I am instrument. That's the best I can. Uh, that's the best thing one can dream for to attain, like the position of being servant of Krishna. The mental concoction of happiness and distress in this world are compared to dreams because of their falseness. All thoughts of obtaining happiness by using material senses have a false background and therefore have no meaning. Therefore, Prabhupada's conclusion is the best course is engage the mind in the service of Krishna, Rishikesha, and thus feel real blissful life. Hare Krishna. So, with that, we will conclude. If you have maybe one question, we can take if you have. I'll try to answer. Okay. So, there is no question. We will conclude here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्रील प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. So please give me your blessings. I spoke a lot, but let me implement something in my life. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta